Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the mid-year Freakout Tag. I have my dog snoring next to the camera as per usual. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in and get started. The first question was already really difficult for me to answer, and it is the best book you've read this year so far. I have read 48 books this year so far. That's including graphic novels. And the best book, I think, was not really a surprise here in book 2, but The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid was amazing. I was really shocked by it actually, because I kind of heard a lot about it, felt like it was overhyped, and I was really, really nervous to check it out, but I get it. I'm a big fan and I loved it. I also wanted to kind of mention Skyward by Sanderson because I loved that book. I haven't continued on the series yet, but it was really, really good. Second question is the best sequel you've read this year so far. And I have reread several books this year. I reread the entire Mercy Thompson series, and then I also have started a reread of the Sookie Stackhouse novels, or the True Blood series. And I didn't really include any of the Charlene Harris, the Sookie Stackhouse books in this. And although I liked the newest Mercy Thompson that came out this year, I think my favorite sequel that I've read was actually The Well of Ascension by Sanderson, and that's part of the Mistborn series. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing, and I need to read The Hero of Ages, which is the third in that book series. And I also kind of want to include the Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna Maguire, which is the Wayward Children series. I think it's the 4th book in the series. It's so good. I always forget how much I love those until I'm reading them, but they're a ton of fun. And I also realized how many sequels I've read this year, which is great, but I read a lot of series books, so it was really, really hard to narrow it down. The third question is the newest release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. And the answer for me is American Demon by Kim Harrison. There's a ton of other ones in there as well. I mean, I haven't read The Vanishing Half yet, which I've heard amazing things about. I haven't read Beach Read yet. There's a couple of more, but American Demon is one that I've been looking forward to, but really I'm the most nervous about. This is from the Hollows series, and it ended 10 years ago. The 13th book, I think it was 10 years ago, the 13th book of the series came out, wrapped up in a pretty red bow, was done, and now they're coming out with a 14th book. And while I feel like I probably will hate that they decided to try to bring this back to life, I also am just too curious to not pick it up. So I'm kind of debating on doing a reread of that series. It is one of the first series that got me into urban fantasy, along with the Dresden Files. So I'm curious to reread it and see if it lives up to what I remember it as. I'm very nervous. I don't know if that's the best idea. Fourth question is the most anticipated book of the second half of 2020. And I realized I don't have a ton on my brand new books, can't wait for them to come out list. But I have the Dresden Files has 2 books coming out this year still. Peace Talks, which comes out in July, and I can't remember the name of the next one, but that one comes out by the end of 2020. I think those are definitely the ones I'm most anticipating. And I did start a reread of that series as well. I only reread the first book of that, but Peace Talks I've been waiting for years, so I'm ready to keep going with that series. But I'm also kind of in the maybe I should just wait for the entire series to be done being written so that I can stop having to wait so long. I don't know. The biggest disappointment. That's a hard one because it's not always oh, the worst book you read this year, which I got to answer easily. But the biggest disappointment was I have 2 books in mind. And funnily enough, both of these books I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed them. And I think they were, I have 3 books. 2 of which I gave 4 stars. And it was Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, which I loved until the very end. And if you've read the book, I think everybody has a like, oh, they don't mind this trope or whatever. But for me, I just didn't get it. I don't know why they threw it in there. So I didn't love it. And I was like, as soon as I started it, 25% in, I was like, this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I'm going to love this. And I mean, I was like that all the way to the end. And it was so disappointing. I don't know. So that one is what like number one for me. And the second was Well Met. Well Met by Jen Deluca was a book that everybody, is another romance book that a bunch of people talked about. Really loved the idea of having this setting of a Renaissance fair and topics of grief and like a lot going on. And I was just kind of like, I don't know, it just ended up being kind of subpar. I still give it 4 stars. Honestly, I feel like it's probably more of a 3-star. But I'm still willing to give that author a chance, and like I loved the writing of it and it was fun, but it ended up falling flat and it was sad. It was a bit disappointing. And the third one I mentioned was actually a graphic novel, and that was Pumpkinheads, that a ton of people on BookTube specifically were talking about how amazing it was and how much they loved it, and I was ready for like a fall read, not in fall, and I picked that one up and it was just okay. It was cute. The art style was fun, but there wasn't a ton to it, and I just didn't get why that one was the one people decided to be really in love with. So yeah, those are my biggest disappointments so far this year. Ooh, but the next question is the biggest surprise, and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I was like, oh, I'll like this, I'll enjoy it, it'll probably be a 3-star and that's totally fine. But no, I gave it 5 stars and that was amazing, and I want to reread it. I want to own it. I don't own it right now and I want to pick it up. And the second one I have on that list is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I also just expected to kind of enjoy it. It seemed like an interesting premise, but no, it surprised me. It was really an interesting storyline, and I didn't realize it was like a multi-perspective, so that was really fun, and yeah, biggest surprise for sure. The next question is your favorite new to you author, or debut author, and for me it's actually going to be Anyta Sunday, who I've only read one book by, and it was Leo Loves Aries, and I loved it. Thought it was a lot of fun, really liked the characters in it, really liked the way the story was told. So I'm really looking forward to reading more by her. And I also have to include Taylor Jenkins Reid because I had never read anything else by them, and I've heard that Daisy Jones and the Six, I believe that's the name, is really, really good. So I do want to explore more of both of their books. Newest fictional crush, and for me it was honestly Hazel and Josh, because they're amazing, both of them. I love both those characters. They're so different from each other in all the best ways, and they're just so sweet and wholesome, and I don't know, I loved both of those characters so much. So my fictional crushes. Newest favorite character. I had to really think about this one, but I'm not including books that I've already read, so Mercy Thompson and anything else I just didn't include as my rereads. I really, really fell in love with Spensa from Skyward. I was surprised by that because the first couple chapters she's insufferable and I really hated her, but she grew on me. I loved watching her like learn, and just her character growth was great, and all of this in the first book is amazing. I can't wait to see what happens with her, and she's definitely one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I do also have to kind of mention another Brandon Sanderson book is the Mistborn series. There's so many characters in that I love, but of course Vin is like my favorite, and another one that I love seeing her growth. So Brandon Sanderson does a great job. The next question is a book that made you cry. Again, not including rereads. I was surprised, but Scythe made me tear up. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo has to be on the list. Yes, it made me cry, but I was surprised that Scythe got me. So I have to like make that the answer of this question. It did a really good job of just getting you caught up in yeah, everything that was going on. The next question goes hand in hand. Book that made you happy. And I'm going to talk about one of the more recent reads I had, which was Leo Loves Aries by Anyta Sunday. And it's just so sweet. It was just such a sweet story, and I loved it, and it made me happy. Josh and Hazel, honestly, any romance book that I've read this year has probably been on this list because it just brings you some joy and fluff and lightness in 2020 being what it is. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or been gifted. I haven't really bought a lot of books this year, so I had a hard time answering this, but I was gifted, I don't know, I'm not going to remember the name of it. She's red hair, wearing glasses on the cover. The Bookish Life of Nina Hill? I just got that for my birthday, and I love that cover. It's in my bedroom, and Olivia is napping, so I'm not going to go get it. But the other book that I got, which I actually got from the little free library, but I think is beautiful, is The Glass Hotel. So I'm including this in my list because I have it currently, and it's going to be in my house for a while. I haven't read this book yet, but like, just the colors alone, I love it. All right, this one is rough, and it is the books that you need to read by the end of the year. All of them? I have so many books that I need to read. I'm rereading a bunch of series that I really want to finish, so I really want to finish rereading the Sookie Stackhouse books because I am going to rewatch. I've only watched some of True Blood, so I was going to watch that show and just see how they compared for my own sake, because I think that would be fun. I need to reread the Dresden Files series and then read the new releases when those come out. I need to reread The Hollows and read the newest book that just came out. And that's not even including just books that I own that I would like to get to this year. And books that I don't own that I need to get to. I'm really excited about like Beach Read. Sounds really fun. The Vanishing Half people have been talking about nonstop, and I feel like I have to read that one soon. The list is too long, but I think a majority of them for me are like series, and I want to complete a bunch of series this year if I can, because I've started so many over the past couple years that I would love to like wrap them up and be done with them. I'm trying hard not to choose too many series that haven't been finished when I start reading them. That way I can kind of just binge read. But yeah, too many books. My goal for this year is to read 100 books, and I'm at 48 right now, so I'm on track, totally fine with that. And yeah, so many books. I should probably narrow it down, but mostly the series books, because I'm really stoked to finish those. And the last question is your favorite book community member. And I'm going to name two people. I'm going to talk about a booktuber who I'm sure everybody already knows, and that's Paperbackdreams, Kat, who is amazing, and I love watching her content. She makes me laugh all the time. I love her reviews. All of the books she reads are so different from what I normally read. She makes me want to pick up so much more horror, and her saga vlog is one of my favorites. So if you don't follow Kat, you need to go check her out. She's 100 times more funny than I am, and like her personality just shines through everything she does. It's great. And the second thing I want to talk about is a bookstagrammer, and that is QuietMountainReader, or Emma, my friend Emma, who has been getting me really interested in reading a lot more of everything, but specifically YA that we've been talking about recently, and a lot of TV shows that I have not checked out yet. That I'll get around to, I promise. The Haunting of Hill House is on my list. Don't come for me, I get it. But no, I love her content on Instagram. I think everybody should be checking out more bookstagrammers because they're so much fun. And I think it's so interesting how many people that do booktube don't participate really on Bookstagram, and how many bookstagrammers don't really participate on YouTube. So I thought I would mention both. But yeah, that's my mid-year freakout. I've got a lot of books to read. I'm feeling a little nervous, especially since I've had really slow reading months lately. But I believe in it. I can get it done. 100 books this year. It'll be fine. Everything's gonna be great. And I'm gonna read a lot more 5 stars because I am tired of reading 3-star reads. Like, give me some good stuff. All right, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Now she's trying to wink again.
Mm-hmm.
She's winking.
Olivia, what's the sign for buffalo? Yeah.